Tonight's City Council meeting is called to order, and I kindly ask our distinguished clerk to please take the roll call.
Bowring?
Here.
Furnish?
Here.
Kilberg?
Here.
Kasserag?
Here.
Malicki?
Here.
Mark?
Here.
Mayor?
Here.
Hellquist?
Here.
Paschke?
Here.
Reinecke?
Here.
We have a full house this evening, and we, as always, begin our council meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I would like to invite someone who you will soon be meeting by way of introduction and nomination, Miss Denise Dimitro.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. A great segue into our first item of business, which is item 3A, to consider the mayor's appointment of Denise Dimitro to the Geneva Mental Health Board.
So moved.
Motion by Bowring, seconded by Paschke. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Congratulations, and welcome aboard. And the floor is yours if you want it, but you got it. Okay, thank you for leading us in the pledge as well. And our chairperson is here as well, Eleanor Hamilton. So thank you, Madam Chair, for being here as well. Item 3B is the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, otherwise known as MS4, Stormwater Quality Program Update with our friends at Baxter & Woodman Consulting Engineers. And they are the ones who are going to pop up this presentation for us. And you'll probably recognize this gentleman. He joins us once a year. He calls Cary, Illinois home. Crystal Lake.
Good save.
Good save, Crystal
Right
Lake.
there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
not Cary, for God's sake. No, Crystal Lake.
Crystal.
And every time you're here, there's a weather event.
It seems like it. Yeah. I'm not responsible for the snow that just arrived, but I think there's some really good weather towards the end of the week, right? We're gonna see
Yes, I
most
think
of
you're right.
Yeah, this snow go away. But spring is right around the corner. It's definitely a timely topic to discuss stormwater.
Good.
And the rains that are coming. All right.
We're glad to see you.
on board.
Welcome, and please introduce yourself to everybody. Then the floor is yours.
All right, thanks. I am Dan Bounds. I'm with Baxter & Woodman Consulting Engineers, and we've been assisting the city with implementation of the regulatory programs for stormwater for quite some time. And part of the program requirements is an annual presentation about the requirements. There are some new things that I will talk about this year. IEPA has released a new permit with a new set of requirements. So thank you for that. So the city does have a program to implement best management practices to reduce or eliminate the amount of pollutants getting into the separate storm drain system. This is the portion of your storm drain system that does not go to the wastewater treatment plant. It's the separate storm drain system. So any spills, materials, pollutants that would get into that system go directly to our local creeks, the river, without any sort of treatment ahead of that. Regulatorily, this is called your Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System program, and it's a permit program from Illinois EPA. There's several requirements within the program for stormwater pollution prevention information, training for staff, public education and outreach on pollution impacts, a lot of documentation and annual reporting that goes into IEPA. There's a water quality monitoring requirement and a training requirement for your municipal staff each year to have knowledge on pollution prevention measures. And stormwater picks up any pollutants or materials that are left on the land surface and drains that into our curbs, our storm drain inlets, and into that system. Those materials, those pollutants can have a downstream impact on aquatic organisms, fish and ecosystems. We have drinking water sources downstream. We have recreational uses to protect. So it's up to us in this program to implement best management practices to reduce the pollutant discharges and protect local water quality. The program has 6 areas. Regulatorily, they're called minimum control measures, but the 6 areas are shown here on the slide. Public education and outreach on stormwater impacts, and then public involvement and participation. This presentation tonight is part of that requirement for public involvement and participation. There are requirements for recognizing illicit discharges to the system or illegal or improper connections. There's also requirements for construction site oversight and new development or post-construction water quality management for new development and redevelopment, and then pollution prevention measures and good housekeeping measures for municipal staff. There's best management practices developed for each of these program areas that are implemented within the city to comply with the program requirements. Those include best management practices for fleet and building material maintenance and park maintenance, storm drain system maintenance, your roadways, your parking lots, this time of year, winter salting and de-icing, best management practices for that. Recognizing hazards associated with illicit discharges to the system, and then best management practices for material handling, spill response, waste management, recyclables management are all parts of the program. So I mentioned water quality monitoring as a requirement of the program. There's several different ways that you can meet that requirement, and the city is a part of the Fox River Study Group, a member of that group and their regional water quality efforts. So that is the way the city participates regionally and meets the monitoring requirement. That data is available. Information from the watershed group is available for city or public review at any time on their website at the Fox River Study Group. I mentioned record keeping and reporting requirements. There's a notice of intent. That's the program commitments that the city is telling IEPA how they're going to implement, how we're going to implement the program. That goes in approximately every 5 years with a new permit term. There's a stormwater management plan locally that describes how city departments work together to implement this program, because it's definitely not a one department program with the range of requirements that are involved. And then I help the city with its annual report to IEPA on progress with implementing the program. June 1st of every year, that annual report goes into IEPA. All of these documents are on the city's website in the stormwater section for city staff or public review. So there's a lot of local resources for proper disposal or recycling of materials. Your residents have quick access to these for just typical garbage, recycling, or yard waste, what to do with household hazardous waste, or other materials that they might have questions on. So there's great resources there for proper ways to dispose of materials or chemicals or household hazardous waste. And then Public Works could always be contacted as well if there's questions. So IEPA issued a new set of requirements. August 1st is when they became effective statewide for communities just like the city. There are a lot of new requirements. Most of them are part of the program really already here locally, so there won't be a very big impact. But I did want to highlight some of the new things that are new for the next 5 years or more of the program. For the first time, participating in a regional watershed group or a de-icing work group is required by the permit. We've already been participating with the Fox River Study Group for some time, so that's not a new requirement for us. There's new specific education requirements for local residents and local businesses. We have to target some new education information, more of a focus than a new education on certain topics for residents and local businesses for pollution prevention education. For the first time, the program's requiring written procedures for tracking and responding to spills or illicit discharges. So we'll be working that in the stormwater management plan locally. New documentation requirements for street sweeping, catch basin cleaning, and landscape waste management. Programs the city already has. We just need to provide a little bit more information on them and what prioritization is done on them to protect water quality. And then lastly, there's a new quarterly inspection requirement that the city needs to implement at facilities that you own or operate. So quarterly, a stormwater pollution prevention inspection at your own facilities to look for best management practice implementation. Does stormwater look like good coming off of those sites and getting into our local waterways? So that's an overview of the new requirements going forward for the program. For any questions about water quality issues or concerns, in the environment, or questions about this program, it's the Public Works Department that is the proper department to contact at 630-232-1501. And additional information on contacting the department is on your website as well. And that is the annual update and new set of requirements. Happy to answer questions across the board. Yeah.
Questions on the dais for our guest, Mr. Bounds, Alderperson Mayor.
I was just wondering about the new quarterly inspection. Is that a self-inspection, or is that somebody has to come in that's an agent or something?
That is a self-inspection.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank
so the new permit is requiring at least quarterly getting to each facility that own or operate and do a stormwater pollution prevention inspection at it. So it's not like an IEPA inspection or someone else coming in. It's a self-inspection and documentation. So if you ever were audited by IEPA and they asked, are you doing your quarterly inspections, you could show, show the evidence of doing those inspections, right? With the whole goal and intent of if there's materials not being handled right at a facility, you could improve the best management practices and clean up the stormwater leaving the site.
Alderperson Bowring.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I was curious for the reducing pollutants from landscape management, the new requirements for that, is that tied to private property or public properties or both?
It really is both.
Okay.
The city handles a lot of landscape waste to begin with, so they're looking for your procedure or documentation for that.
Okay.
But also local ordinance on how to handle like leaves or not putting things into the streets or going into storm drain inlets, making sure there's information out there on that as well. What IEPA is really looking for this round is how are you prioritizing those public works efforts to protect water quality.
Got it.
So I don't think there's any changes that will be needed in the program that's implemented. It's good. It's just providing a little bit more information for the reports.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Anyone else from the dais? Mr. Bounds, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much.
Always good to see you. Our next item, ladies and gentlemen, is item 3C. It's being presented by our friend, the Community Development Director, Mr. David DeGroot, and it is regarding a presentation on Prairie Green Preserve. Some of you, most of you, will recall that there was a few queries from the dais regarding the status of the preserve, and David is going to give us a quick overview on that. It's a 30,000-foot perspective, so David, the floor is yours.
I'm trying. There we go. All right, thank you. Yes, there was an inquiry a few months ago for more information on Prairie Green Preserve, and we thought tonight with the farm lease up for renewal would be a good time to kind of give you this high-level overview. So starting with where Prairie Green Preserve is, it's generally located on the west side of Peck Road, north of Kesslinger, and generally south of Brisher, outlined in the blue here. It consists of 580 acres of publicly owned prairie wetland and restoration and passive recreational areas. The city purchased 360 acres between 1999 and 2002. 80 acres were acquired with the Kane County Forest Preserve in 2002. The city did have $10 million in bonds for the purchase of the land. Those were retired in 2021. We also accepted 140 acres of surplus land from the Illinois Department of Corrections in 2003. So why did the city assemble all of these properties is probably a good place to start. The objectives were to establish a large publicly owned open space that defines the west edge of the city. We have boundary agreements with our neighbors to the north, south, and east, but we did not have any established policy for land use going westward, so this was kind of what our planners call an urban growth boundary, to work within everything east of Peck Road. The other objectives were to restore the pre-settlement native vegetation on the site, including native prairie plants and wetlands, create opportunities for passive recreation like hiking, biking, and bird watching, and then to enhance the surface water quality and provide additional management of stormwater in the upper Mill Creek watershed. I'm going to start by going through some of the improvements that are out there today. Today we have 131 community garden plots. You can reserve those through our partnership with the Geneva Park District. That's located on a 40-acre parcel owned by the Forest Preserve, so we really have a lot of intergovernmental cooperation for this project. That property was annexed to the city in 2011. In that agreement, we agreed to install the water service to the site and cover the first 300 acres of that cost every year. The remainder of that is covered by the Park District in their registration fees. We have a 1.25 mile hiking and biking trail that's surfaced with crushed limestone that provides a link between the Great Western Trail to the north, if you follow the trail along Peck Road, and then to Peck Farm Park to the south. It's also shown up on all the Kane County and Kendall County bicycle maps. A big part of this project is the wetland mitigation bank in the center of the site. That consists of 106 acres, 76 acres of wetland, and 30 acres of associated buffer and prairie areas. In total, this gives us 83 wetland mitigation credits to sell. The purpose is to mitigate wetland impacts in other areas of the Fox River watershed. I think it was about 10 years ago, maybe a little more now, that we entered into an agreement with Land and Water Resources to manage those credits. In that agreement, we receive a little over $38,000 for the first 41 credits sold and $57,000 for each credit thereafter. So we're now into that second portion of that agreement with approximately 30 credits remaining. We do have some hydrology issues today that we have budgeted to explore a drain tile study to resolve that, but then once the wetland is established, we'll have those 30 credits available. For the prairie, there is some selective mowing, herbicide applications, brush clearing, seed collection and dispersion, and occasional prairie burns that need to take place. And since the very early days, we have been leasing a good portion of the preserve for farming. The original intent of that was to help pay down the bonds, which were retired in 2021. We've continued with that since then, since we have not built out the wetland mitigation bank and still have some improvements that are needed to complete on the site. So that lease is what is coming up before you tonight on the Committee of the Whole agenda. It's restricted to 2-year terms, and the current proposal is for $66,150 annually, or $270 an acre. In 2018, the city had purchased the 6.3 acre Peck Road farmhouse. That's highlighted in the green here on the map. That was annexed and declared surplus in 2019. The single family home has since been demolished, and it is budgeted this year to take down the barn that remains standing. The initial contemplation for this site was maybe for trailhead parking for the preserve in the future. This is the overall site plan for Prairie Green Preserve. So those are all the improvements that we have completed to date. This is the original site plan showing you kind of the final condition that was outlined in 2006. Again, we've done a lot of the wetland area in the center of the site. We've put in some of the multi-use trail, but we have not completed the loop system around the site. We've added the community gardens, but we don't have trailhead parking on the south end of the site. And then there's also seating areas and viewing huts and things of that nature that are supposed to be added over time. So that's kind of a high-level overview of how Prairie Green came to be and where we are today. And then looking forward, we do have a healthy fund balance today of a little over $1 million. We have some planned work in the near future, the demolition of the barn that I mentioned, a study of the drain tiles to resolve the hydrology issues. If we are able to sell the remaining wetland credits, we should generate another $1,728,000 for the project. If we continue to move forward with the farm lease, that would generate another $132,000 over the next 2 years. So if we're able to complete those items, we would then have a pretty healthy fund balance moving forward to complete the rest of the improvements, the trailhead parking, the rest of the multi-use trail, any seating areas, viewing huts, things of that nature. That's really all I have. If there's any questions, if I can't answer them, I'd be happy to look into them and present at another date.
Thank you, sir. Questions from Mr. DeGroot? We got several hands up. Alderperson Marks, Alderperson Malicki.
David, with the hydrology issues, do we expect a cost after the study or is that gonna be all dependent upon what they find?
I think it depends on what they find. So,
Because that can get expensive.
yeah, the study's not too bad.
No,
But
this
yeah, depending on the work
study's
that needs
not.
to be done, it remains to be seen. That's really why we're not moving forward with other items on the plan, and we recommend continuing to generate the revenue with the farm lease
Yeah.
until we have that resolved.
Because those in the past have become expensive. So thank you.
Alderperson Malicki.
Thank you. Thanks for putting this together. So back with the hydrology study, like these issues, how long have these issues sort of been like known or outstanding?
I would say they've come and gone since, like, we've tried to establish the wetland mitigation bank. We've had issues, we've had them resolved.
And you mentioned like drain tile, is that like
Yeah, I don't know if you
old
have
drain
any
tile
more
from the
detail, Rich. I
farmlands and
don't
stuff,
think-
or
I don't think it's known at the moment. That's why we budgeted for the study of
what's the study supposed to find out, you know?
why we're not getting enough water in the
to-
area.
In the area?
Right.
Which is, besides natural
Right.
fluctuation
It's
here
abnormal,
or there,
but-
like drought or, type of thing, okay. And then, so some of these areas, so completing some of these areas, like you mentioned, some of the trails and stuff, and basically had the site plan in 2006, which is still incomplete, 20 years later. So is the hydrology issue and the wetland mitigation holding up some of these things, or?
The wetland mitigation bank is right in the center of the site, so getting that established, getting those credits sold before we complete the loop trail system and add any additional improvements around the wetland area is kind of first and foremost.
So why are we sitting on $1 million?
Because
In
we
the
don't
fund balance.
know what other improvements need to be made at this time.
So we're just sitting on that?
I mean, we had, like, again, we had purchased the property for the Peck Farmhouse.
Okay.
To look at trailhead parking, so that those are improvements we are working towards.
Sure. Eventually,
Right.
since 2006.
It's been a long project, right?
Okay. Okay, that's it for now. All right. I'm not trying to, I'm just
No,
always
I
wondering,
understand.
'cause
Yeah.
that just seems like it's a long time. Okay.
Alderperson Mayor.
So the wetlands don't have water? The wetlands don't have water in them? That's the problem? That's the hydrology problem?
My understanding is it's a lower than it is expected to be.
Okay, so we need to build the water so that the wetlands qualify as, for the wetland credits?
Correct.
Is that right? So it's like a process that we have to go
Right.
through to build the ecology there.
Correct.
Okay. I was wondering about the fields to the north. You know, we've got the area that's the gardens. Whose property are those fields, those soccer fields there?
Those are owned by the Forest Preserve, the northern
Okay.
properties.
And then what's our western boundary here? It's hard to tell the context, really.
If I can go back to an aerial, maybe.
So the straight up at the top.
The little indent, got it, thank you.
Farm fields.
Okay, so just farm fields. So if we were able to put in the loop, does it go just between our western boundary and the wetland? Or does it cross through the wetland area? It looks
You can
very
see,
narrow.
It's like this black line here are all loops, trails.
Okay,
around
so
the
it is
site.
gonna go right on the
Yeah.
edge of the,
Yeah, right to the western edge,
marshy
around the
stuff.
wetlands.
okay.
Right now,
Well-
the trail kind of starts at the southern end and comes north and then back over to the community gardens.
Yeah, I've ridden on it, it's really nice, and it'd be nice to get the rest of it built, so. But, yeah, a couple of years from now.
At least, yeah.
Okay, thanks, David.
Alderperson Kilburg.
Right. A couple of questions. At one time, our contract that we let in 2014 and 2015 was for 286 acres. And now our pending contract is for 245 acres. Could you explain what happened to those 40 acres that were marketable previously?
For the farm lease,
Yes.
I believe some of those were necessary for the establishment of the Wetland Mitigation Bank. That's around the time that we were really pushing to get that established, and we entered into the contract with Land and Water Resources. I think some of the other acreage that was taken out was too wet for him to continue to farm.
Okay.
It's a long time ago, but that's what I recall.
Yeah, the 20.
I
yeah,
do
the
remember
20
reducing the acreage
The
by about 40
2014 and the
acres.
2015 contract, for the two-year contract was for 286 acres at that time.
Right.
And you're saying then that more of the acreage has been, or more of the property's been dedicated to wetland? Is that what you're saying? Did we increase our credit set as a result?
No, it was carrying forward the original plan for the Wetland Mitigation Bank. So that was not really actively pursued until probably around that time. I think is when we
Okay.
entered into the contract with Land and Water Resources,
So,
and that reduced the acreage
Okay.
available for farming.
okay. I know that some time ago, we had a lot of issues as it relates to the wetlands and the fact that it was either feast or famine, that we were either dry or we were flooded out because of drainage. And I know that there was a number of plantings that had to take place at that time as well to comply. So do we still retain the services of the firm that you'd referenced there that was our consultant?
Land and Water Resources, yes. We
Pardon
do.
me?
We do, yes.
Okay. And I guess the other question I have is that I know that whoever leases the land does some weed control, and that would be on is that dedicated strictly to the cropland, or is that dedicated to the entire property?
I believe it's the entire property. I'd have to double check the
Okay.
lease.
And do we know is there any information as it relates to what types of weeds they're trying to control, or is that left to, does our consultant, do they get involved in the weed control portion of it?
I don't know those details at this time.
Okay.
I can look into that.
Who monitors the weed control portion of it?
It is under the responsibility of the tenant farmer to do that.
Pardon me?
It's under the responsibility in the contract of the farmer to do that.
I know that they are responsible for doing it, but then who is the one that's walking the property and monitoring whether or not we are controlling the weeds that we want to control?
And I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay, could you look into that?
I can, yes.
Okay. The other thing is that, and this is going to be on the agenda later, as it relates to the leasing of the property. I know the current leasee has had it since 2003, I believe, that they have negotiated the lease with us for almost over 20 years. And I'm just wondering, in 2014 and 2015, it was a 2-year lease at $375 an acre. And now I see in 26 and 27, their bid on the acreage that they're leasing is at $270. Is there, are we getting enough bids, or what is the process? I know that we put it in the Daily Herald. I'm just saying, are we reaching the farming community in northern Kane County that might more aggressively bid for this land? I did some research, and right now, a agency out of Maple Park that's involved in the leasing of cropland in northern Illinois, and especially in Kane County, it's showing that crop ground is renting for somewhere between, on ground that will yield 190 bushels of corn, it'll yield, it's renting or leasing for between $336 to $384 per acre. So I think sometimes, you know, are we reaching the right market? I guess that's the question I'm asking as well. And again, that might be a topic for discussion under the committee of the whole meeting. But again, we only received one bid this year.
We did only receive the one bid,
Okay.
yes.
again, that's, you know, that's $40,000 or $50,000 a year. And I'm not saying that, you know, not displeased with who's involved with this lease, but I'm just saying that I would hope that we could find a way to make it more competitive, at least getting more than one bid on a biannual basis. So, that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
We can revisit this under committee of the whole?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else on the presentation offered and presented by Mr. DeGroot? No action, of course, is necessary. Thank you, sir. Oh,
right.
Alderperson Malikey?
One more question back
Sure.
to the wetland mitigation credits. What if those never come to fruition? You know, for the wetland mitigation credits, what if those just never come to fruition? What if we're never able to generate enough wetland there for,
I don't know. I think we'll have to cross that bridge if we come to it.
David, if I may, I'd like
Is
to
that-
chime in on the, and I think what's really important is when the referendum was launched to acquire this acreage, and you used the language, an urban growth
Boundary, yeah.
boundary. Forever open space was the key selling point. And then we pursued, what can we do with that space to keep it in its integrity, passive recreation, et cetera. Not necessarily active recreation, but complementing the land that we've acquired. So first and foremost, we should pat ourselves on the back, and the community in particular, for investing in this open space that provided that urban growth boundary. Enhancing it accordingly obviously boils down to revenue. So to your point, if these wetland credits never come to fruition, then we still have the $1 million, et cetera, and we'll do what we can with those monies we have on hand. In short. So I think it's still a huge victory, but we want to elevate that victory if we can based on budgetary constraints.
I agree with that statement, so I'm just trying to,
Oh, sure.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Alderperson Bowering.
Thank you. I apologize for not having as much history with this as some folks up here, but I just wanted to make sure, my guess is that since we have sold some of the wetland mitigation credits, that the protection afforded by that status is
Yes.
already
Already in
established?
place. That's correct.
Great, thank you.
Anyone else? Alderperson Gilbert?
I had one more thing. I see that you've indicated that the barn on the property that we acquired recently here and we burnt the house, that it's earmarked for demolition?
I believe it was budgeted for this year.
Okay. Is that going to be a decision that the council will have an opportunity to discuss? Or has the decision already been made to
I
demolish?
thought it had already been declared surplus.
Well, it was voted on as part of the budget, so there will be.
Well, if it's in the budget, it can be, I'm just wondering, with over $1 million, and I've commented on this previously, I think that's a piece of Geneva's history. I know it's not in our historic district, but I'm just saying, a barn has relevance as it relates to our agrarian background here in Geneva, if we go back 100, 150 years, and I would think that it would be helpful to have a discussion with the council as to whether or not we want to preserve it. And not now, but I'm just saying, just because it's in the budget doesn't mean that it's been approved for demolition. Is that correct?
Well, the demolition was included in Public Works, and that was part of the approved budget.
Right.
The barn is in a significant state of disrepair, so it's not in a condition,
There-
it would require significant
Well-
investment, which is where the demolition piece has come in.
Well, and again, this isn't the time or the place for that discussion, but I'm just saying, I saw that it was already listed for demolition.
Correct.
And I don't think a lot of the council probably is aware of the fact that it was. And I appreciate if there'd be an opportunity to have some discussion in regard to possible preservation and to try to get an idea of what it might cost for the city to preserve it as a piece of our history. Is that fair enough?
I would only add the following, and I believe it was Mr. Babick who made the presentation regarding the quality of the structure.
Understood.
Mr. Babick, would you mind summarizing that very, very quickly? There was considerable discussion regarding whether or not the material itself had any value. The answer was no. Whether or not we could sell that material or just offer it for sale, allegedly, nobody wants it. And third, or C, to restore it would cost, obviously, significant amount of money.
And D, there are no utilities anywhere near that facility, so there would be an extensive cost about bringing utilities to service that future structure. The current state of that facility is that there are roughly 2 significant holes in the roof. They're
Yes.
roughly 8 by 8. All the windows have been blown out, at least, well, every window has been blown out of the building. The Public Works Department has boarded all the main floor windows to try to secure it from vandalism. It was evaluated for resource and reuse when the farmhouse was proposed for burning. The material inside the building is basically concrete floor, typical of construction, in the relatively modern era defined like post-World War II. The beams themselves, while they're lengthy, are standard saw and stock 2x type material. Nothing there was seen to be advantageous for wood or salvaging. Let's see. You asked 3 questions. I didn't write them down. I apologize.
Generally speaking, the overall cost, the estimates to restore for some sort of purpose besides just, if I can paraphrase Mr. Kilburg, just sitting there, but some sort of use ultimately and/or just an homage to what was once there.
In order to restore that facility to a structural integrity would require an external contractor and architectural services. That is well beyond the scope of anybody within the city staff to prepare that documentation for. My staff has flat out refused to go on the roof to make any repairs, even through the bucket truck. My staff has refused to go into that building because of the conditions inside the building of various wildlife and accumulated debris over time. We have done everything we can to at least keep the public safe from a dilapidated structure. We do visit it, usually either myself, the assistant director, or the building commissioner try to visit it on an every other month basis. And as staff does go through there, they do take a look at it to see if there is further signs of vandalism or neglect. The consensus was, especially due to the significantly large holes in the roof, that it was past its opportunity for salvage, and it was time to have a lengthy discussion, or not a lengthy discussion, but a movement to have it removed in its entirety. We've had that structure for probably roughly, I would say, 6 years, would you say?
Yeah, at least.
And there's been no discussion by the
2019.
city council after the first year acquisition about its future. So it's been sitting in its natural state, and it's become more dilapidated with every storm. And every windstorm that rolls through, we look at that structure and we're kind of shocked that it's still there.
Thank you. This might be an opportunity, if I may be so bold as to ask the council, is there consensus on having a separate discussion regarding the fate of that structure? Is there anyone who wishes to have such conversation? Alderperson Kilburg, anyone else? Based on the rules that we follow, such discussion will not take place. We will simply award a bid for demolition when that demolition contract comes before us. Anyone object to that? Okay, moving on. Thank you, Mr. DeGroot. Any other questions for Mr. DeGroot? Thank you, David. Mr. Babica, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4, amendments to the agenda. Are there any amendments this evening? Item 5 is the omnibus agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are considered to be routine by this council. All those items can be considered and voted upon with one motion. Is there such a motion? Paschke makes the motion. Kasserag makes the second. City Clerk, please take the roll.
Paschke,
Aye.
Reineke,
Aye.
Bowering,
Aye.
Furnish,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Kasserag,
Aye.
Maliki,
Aye.
Marks,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
Palmquist.
Aye.
The omnibus agenda has been approved with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 council members absent. Item 8, municipal bills for payment. We kindly ask our clerk to read the bills in their aggregate for our consideration.
Municipal bills for payment total $5,968,856.99.
Mayor, I move that we approve and pay the bills as read, the individual items for which can be found in tonight's city council packet, which is available on the city's website.
Alderperson Bauer makes the motion to pay the bills as presented, which are available on the city council website, or excuse me, the city's website, and in each city council member's packet. Is there a second? Seconded by Paschke. We have a motion and a second. City Clerk, please take the roll.
Bowering,
Aye.
Furnish,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Kasserag,
Aye.
Maliki,
Aye.
Marks,
Aye.
Mayor, Palmquist,
Aye.
Paschke,
Aye.
Reineke.
Aye.
The bills have been approved to be paid with 10 affirmative votes, 0 no votes, and 0 council members absent. There are no committee of the whole items of business. We jump to item 10, presentation of ordinances and resolutions. Item 10A is to consider Resolution 2026-28, authorizing an agreement with the Illinois Department of Transportation for right-of-way maintenance.
So moved.
Mayor makes the motion. Paschke with the second, and the floor is Ms. Voits.
Thank you. The item before the council this evening is a required process with IDOT. This is a 2-year resolution that will satisfy the state's permitting requirements in lieu of providing a surety bond for work in the state right-of-way. The executive summary does outline and provides additional information, and we do have Assistant Director Nate Landers here if there are any additional questions.
Any questions for the dais for Mr. Landers? Seeing none and sensing none, City Clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor,
Aye.
Palmquist,
Aye.
Paschke,
Aye.
Reineke,
Aye.
Bowering,
Aye.
Furnish,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Kasserag,
Aye.
Maliki,
Aye.
Marks.
Aye.
Resolution 2026-28 has been approved by 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 council members absent. Item 10B, consider Resolution 2026-29, authorizing the city administrator, director of public works, assistant director of public works, and the superintendent of streets and fleet to be authorized purchasers of road salt utilizing the state of Illinois joint purchasing contract. Motion by Mayor, seconded by Paschke. Ms. Voigt.
Thank you. The resolution before the council seeks approval for the individuals listed to purchase road salt through the Illinois Joint Purchasing System. And we do have Superintendent Dan Javed here if there are additional questions.
Any questions for the superintendent? Hanging out in the back of the room, Alderperson Kilberg.
I just had a question as to what type of inventory we anticipate carrying into the summer months, and what are we looking at as far as a projection on what we're going to explore contracting through the state program? I know that the last 2 years, we've had a considerable inventory that we carried forward, correct?
Roughly 2,000 tons.
Yeah.
So we'll carry that again this year, and we'll put on the bid. We do a 8120 bid for salt, and we'll bid out approximately 1,800 tons.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did we just use the remainder of the salt today, or?
Yeah, yeah.
Kudos to the team as well.
Thank you.
And if you notice, we dumped all that snow in St. Charles. Didn't affect our stormwater, did it?
No.
No, okay. Anyone else for our friend Dan? If not, we have a motion, we have a second. City Clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor,
Aye.
Palmquist,
Aye.
Paschke.
Aye.
Reinecke.
Aye.
Bowering.
Aye.
Furnish.
Aye.
Hilbert.
Aye.
Kasserag.
Aye.
Malachy.
Aye.
Marks.
Aye.
Resolution 2026-29 has been approved by 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 council members absent. Item 10C is to consider Resolution 2026-30, authorizing a waiver of the bidding process and and execution of an independent contract agreement with First Independent Inspection Services for plumbing, plan review, and inspection services in the budgeted amount of $95,000. Paschke with the motion. Bowering with the second. Ms. Voigt.
Thank you. As outlined, this resolution is seeking council approval for a contract with First Inspection Services for plumbing plan review and inspection services for a period of 2 years. The executive summary does provide additional details regarding the services provided, as well as an additional breakdown of the costs of this service. And we do have Director DeGroot here if there are additional questions.
Questions for Director DeGroot? Alderperson Kasserad.
I guess I was just wondering, like, what the justification is for no bidding it. I saw that we've been a good partner, they've been a good partner for us, and the continuity of the experience for contractors, whoever use those services. I guess I'm just not sure what the harm is on going out for bid, to double check that those prices are, you know, as good as we think they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned the reasons that we feel it's appropriate to move forward without it, because we have a very good working relationship with them. They have a good relationship with our contractors in town. They've got a great relationship with the Kane County Health Department, the state plumbing inspector. We have a lot of very large-scale projects going on right now that they are involved in, and we thought the continuity of service was, I guess, really valuable to the city and to the development community.
I'm not really pushing it that hard, but I guess I just, like, what's the problem going out for bid? Is it a lot of work to put the bid packet together, or is it threatening to our, the current vendor, whoever the current vendor is?
First Inspection Services. I mean, I guess not. I guess you could go out to bid and explain that that's the will of the council is to do that. But for the reasons we mentioned, those are the reasons we have not gone that route.
How long have we been working with?
It's been 13 years now.
How much?
13 years.
13 years. Do the other communities around here use them, or do they use other vendors?
I'm not sure. I think Batavia does use them. Our building commissioner was going to be here tonight, but he's out sick today, so I apologize for that. Yeah, I'm not sure who everybody uses.
Okay. I guess I just don't see the harm in going out, especially if this is 100% pass-through to taxpayers, right? Or I mean, to the users of the system, I should say.
Right.
You know, a lot of them might say $50 for a plan review, cheaper, might be worth it, you know? So I don't know, I'm just sharing that, that's my thoughts.
Okay.
It's not one of those I feel like super strongly about. I definitely get the history and appreciate that. I guess I just don't see are we at the deadline to renew?
It expires at the end of the fiscal year, so April 30th.
Okay. Is it feasible to do that before that?
We'd have to let it out for a few weeks, and then see what we get.
It would also require a motion to suspend this consideration. That would have to be
Right.
agreed to by the council to do so.
I'll throw it out there for the rest of the council. I'm not, again, not feeling, I certainly understand the justifications, but I definitely am a big fan of going out for quotes, if nothing else, just to prove that the decision that we intend to make is the right one. So that's how I feel about it. If anybody else agrees, chime in. If not, no problem. Thank you.
Floor is open for questions of Mr. DeGroot. Alderperson Mayor?
I'll just start by saying that a friend of mine who's a contractor has told me that he has a lot of respect for the plumbing inspectors that we employ. So I'm coming at this from a positive viewpoint of our plumbing inspection process. And have we had an increase in their fee that's out of range with what the rest of our fees from professional services have been?
I think in the 13 years, they've raised their rates twice, and it's been a $5 increase in this contract on the inspections, not on the plan review side. And a lot of that was because when they have to do re-inspections, they don't always recapture those costs. And then just natural inflation as well.
So in this, it's $95,000?
That's the budgeted amount.
That's the budgeted amount, but it's a
Right.
not to exceed. It's a kind of budgetary spend, and it's billed back, right?
We have to
So
account
it's-
for it in the budget. It is a pass-through cost, but we've typically come under that 95,000.
Have we had any complaints about their services?
In my time as the director, I've not had any complaints.
So, I mean, my perspective on this, again, I've heard good things about this company and about our plumbing inspection process, so I'm definitely not opposed to approving this renewal of their contract with your recommendation.
Thank you.
Anyone else for the director? Alderperson Bowering?
Thank you, Director DeGroot, and thank you, Alderperson Mayor. I think those were really helpful questions. I think my perspective, while I think the competitive bidding process is really useful, the arguments put forward to exclude this from competitive bidding makes sense to me. We do have a lot of big projects going on, and given the track record, and, you know, costs across the board for lots of things are going up, and it sounds like this has stayed pretty steady. This seems like a reasonable reason to waive the bidding process in this case. So I'm fine with this going forward, but I do understand the concerns expressed. Thanks.
Anyone else for the director? Alderperson Kilburg?
From my conversations with Mr. Byrne, as well as with contractors in the community that have been doing projects, I think they've been pleased with the relationship with this vendor. And again, I don't see a need necessarily at this point in time to go through an extended bid process. I know the Little Owl project over here, that's been a big undertaking, and visiting with the primary contractor there, that he was very complimentary of the relationship, even though they're both from Batavia.
Anyone else for the director? We have a motion, we have a second on resolution 2026-30. City Clerk, please take the roll.
Paschke?
Aye.
Reinecke?
Aye.
Bowering?
Aye.
Furnish?
Aye.
Kilburg?
Aye.
Kasserag?
Nay.
Maleki?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Palmquist?
Aye.
With 9 votes in the affirmative, 1 vote in the negative, and 0 council members absent, resolution 2026-30 has been approved. Item 10D is to consider resolution 2026-31, authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Geneva and the Forest Preserve District of Kane County for a study of water reuse for the Settlers Hill Golf Course. Paschke makes the motion, Bowering makes the second. City Administrator Voigt.
Thank you. The resolution before the council this evening is seeking council approval for an intergovernmental agreement with the Forest Preserve District of Kane County. This IGA would allow the Forest Preserve District to conduct an engineering study to determine if the use of the city's final effluent to water Settlers Hill Golf Course is a viable long-term solution. This IGA only covers the study. Any action beyond the study would come before the council at a later date and time. So at this point, there is no cost to the city. This is just the agreement allowing the study to take place. I did provide additional background information in the packet, including a letter from the Forest Preserve district president, thanking the city for their partnership and cooperation. That was really the genesis of this conversation. So, Director Babica can take any questions.
Questions for Director Babica? Alderperson Kilburn?
If we enter into this, this agreement, is there a liability risk here that we need to give some serious consideration to?
In what way?
In other words, the public is going to be using the golf course and essentially the product, the water is going to be coming from the city of Geneva. Could we become a part of a class action lawsuit, possibly from issues as it relates to dead grass or golfers that contract some type of an infection, and they said that they acquired it while they were playing around to golf at Settlers Hill?
So
I'm just saying, I think that
I think I understand where you're coming from. This IGA is just to
I know.
study the feasibility, so any action in terms of allowing construction and the actual use of the water would be a separate discussion that would come before the council.
Sure.
So this is just,
the only reason I bring it up is because this issue, in doing some research on it, in Arizona, especially where this practice is employed quite frequently, there has been litigation around it. And again, you know, what's the risk? It may not be great, but it's something I would think that we'd want to give some consideration to and give some legal investigation as to whether or not there's maybe possibly more of a risk than we really realize on the surface.
sure. So our legal counsel
Sure.
that reviewed this has quite a bit of experience in this arena, and we had a very nice conversation on the topic, but that would be a phase 2. So I think if we
Understood.
get to the point, those are all points that we would have to bring out.
Understood.
Yep, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Anyone else? City Clerk, if you're ready, take the roll.
Paschke,
Aye.
Reinecke,
Aye.
Bowering,
Excuse me, aye.
Furnish,
Aye.
Kilburn,
Aye.
Kesserag,
Aye.
Maliki,
Aye.
Marks,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
Palmquist.
Aye.
With 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 council members absent, Resolution 2026-31 has been approved. We jump to item number 11, public comment. We invite anyone who wishes to address the council to please do so. Please share your name, and then, of course, as the rules are, we will not be engaging in debate. And we ask that if there are other people waiting, please keep your comments brief. I will let the audience decide who to go first.
Someone go.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, how are you doing? Karsten Pollock, is my name. I live in Geneva. Kind of interesting, the barn came up today, might be a historic barn, we don't know. I know it's kind of a thing here in Geneva. We like to keep our old structures. That would be maybe a good old structure to keep. Anyway, I'm up here to talk about the police referendum. It was big, it's something I've really been focusing on. I think it's very important for the city to move forward with something. It seems like we get stuck in, it takes a long time. Even the wetlands, which I get, wetlands take a long time to develop, 20 years. I used to live right across the street, looked at them every day. They were great. Walked my dog over there. I like the wetlands. Good spot. City's done a good job with the website. Very informative, a lot of information. Love the information that the architects provided. You can see plans, cost analysis, and why a new police station's needed, right? A lot of people don't click twice, though. That's why I find out, even in work, they don't like to click twice. They just click once. They don't click twice to the second thing, So there's a lot of questions out there. Some things are not clear and of a concern to voters, right? And I talk to people, and they have a concern. Can the referendum be utilized for other things? I went to the library meeting. I asked some of the city staff. I was told that the referendum was just for the police station and no other public safety items, even though the referendum, when you read it, and the ballot doesn't read that way. So there's a little confusion there. There's confusion. I have debate with people about that. The $59 million price tag. it's a lot of money for a lot of people, right? If you're not in the industry, I mean, it makes sense. When you read it, you see the cost escalations versus St. Charles versus the other stations. It's got the soft costs in there. Do we need a gun range? Don't we need a gun range? How big of a garage do we need? But that money, that scares a lot of people. They like, 40 million, seems like people will be more comfortable around that. There's also a lot of opposition to location, which I would argue the location should be centrally located on a main street. I do a lot of driving around in a lot of suburbs. I drove by the Mundelein Police Station the other day, kind of the same spot on the main street. I got to visualize it here. I drive by this police station, that police station. I don't see many police stations. It is sort of a neighborhood there. It's hard for police cars to get out of there. And safety needs to be always of the utmost concern, right? City, staff, council, mayor need to be crystal clear, right? I don't know, you guys have had a lot of meetings, which we appreciate. And a lot of people have questions, right? But a lot of times you probably see the same people too. I don't know how many people are really paying attention. It might be 1,000 people, if we're lucky, paying attention, maybe. But you see the same people come to a lot of these meetings. But it comes down to trust, which we talked about in previous meetings. I came up and talked about trust, right? When we talked about home rule, you've got to have the trust of the people. People have to trust you, right? Do the residents trust the city council, the mayor, to make the correct decisions? So, there was, this stuff's been, going around, but something really disturbed me. A few weeks ago, there was an article, newspaper article, March 5th came out, where State Rep Gasti urges, voters on something or another. I'm not going to talk about to vote or not to vote, and we can't really talk about that here anyway. But the mayor came out and said that the City of Geneva Council unanimously voted to approve South Street location for a new police station. I was like, whoa, I've been paying attention to this. I've been going to a lot of meetings on this, right? Reached out to some aldermen and said, when was this location approved? Because you guys should be voting on this, right? Where you want the police station should be voted on so we can have a debate. And they came back and said, well, the July 21st meeting. Well, that's odd. I was at the July 21st meeting. I remember that meeting pretty well. I even spoke at that meeting. Some of my comments are in the minutes from the meeting. You can go back to the August 4th council meeting. The minutes from the July 21st meeting are in those minutes. But I read through everything again, and the South Street location does not appear to have been approved. I don't see it. The vote was to approve the facility's master plan. That's all that was approved at the July 21st meeting. It specifically says adoption of the plan does not commit the city to do anything specific, but rather helps to create a roadmap. That's what was in the city council meeting. So I'm like, I was a little disturbed. I said, so, even a resident asked a question, what was in here, and one of the aldermen responded, plans simply provides an assessment of the current facilities as well as guidelines going forward. All right, great, let's go forward. At least we got a roadmap. But the location was never voted on. Okay, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but that's not building trust with the city. Okay, either the mayor, he didn't come out truthful or really didn't know what was actually voted on. But that's no way to build trust with the citizens. And that's just an example. That's a lot of the other things that happen, right? We vote about stuff, we talk about it back in July, and then now we're voting on it right in March. People don't remember what happened in July, right? People don't. But we got to be truthful and crystal clear on these items. Same thing like this barn. A lot of council people, oh, we voted on it? Well, it's in the budget. Just because it's in the budget doesn't mean you voted to demolish a barn. Right, someone's got to bid on it, then you got to bring it to council, then you guys are going to vote on it, and council, yes, we approve the bid, no, we don't approve the bid, and that's for that time. But, it really bothered me about it. It really irked me. So that's about it. Thank you for your time.
Floor is open.
Howdy. As I mentioned to all of you 2 weeks ago, WGN Radio had selected Geneva to be the hometown spotlight And Mayor Burns and I had the pleasure of being interviewed this last Wednesday on this. They are going to be on, it's Thursday, the 26th of the month here. Geneva will be featured as the Spotlight community. We have the honor of being the first community to ever be highlighted twice. For whatever scheduling reasons, the original community was not available or could not pull themselves together, and WGN, with our longstanding relationship that the Chamber has, reached out to us and offered us the spot, which we graciously accepted. At the filming that we had on Wednesday, I thought that went very well. They came back then on Friday for follow-up footage. What we will be receiving is obviously on the 26th, they will be talking about us on air throughout the day. These will be at least 5-minute segments. We will have 10 promotional ads during that day. During the week around it, there will be an additional 60 30-second commercials. Some of those will be live, some will be pre-recorded. There is also going to be a social media program going with this, with various social media posts. To be honest with you, I don't understand all the social media stuff. That's why we have other people who do that for us. This goes out to 125,000 digital impressions on this. There will also be video that will be shared, again, on social media, and then also available to us to use for our own use. Some of the featured businesses in this was going to be the Harrington for where to stay in Geneva. Preservation will be featured for where to eat and drink. Neighbors Grid, is going to be highlighted as a place to shop. They're also going to be doing a segment on the Geneva Community Chest in this program. When they were back out on Friday, they did a lot of additional video. They will be arranging telephone interviews, and they also did a very nice segment for the Viking ship that we have out at Good Templar Park. So I think this is something that it's a nice little plug that Geneva will have going out to the Chicagoland area. Just some other events that we have going on. This past weekend, we had the Wedding Walk. That was on this Sunday, the 15th. Christy Holly Events. She has her Lucky Charms promotion that is continuing on through next Monday, the 23rd. The Geneva Alliance of Businessmen is having a March Madness social at Penrose this coming Thursday, the 19th. The Merchants Group has the Juliet's Weekend coming up, April 10th through 12th. The Chamber's Coffee Crawl is going to be the following weekend, April 18th. We've got the citywide garage sale coming up, the April 24th and 25th. And last but not least, the Merchants Group and the Chamber will be introducing the Art Explosion on May 2nd. As you can see, we have a lot going on to promote the community, and thank you.
Anyone else? The floor is open. New business from the dais. Anyone has any new business they'd like to share? Feel free to do so. If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this city council meeting. Kosarog makes the motion. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. This meeting is adjourned. We'll take just a moment to transition to the committee of the whole, which is being chaired by Alderperson Bowring.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to call tonight's Committee of the Whole to order. My name is Anais Bowring. I have the honor and pleasure of representing the First Ward along with my counterpart, Alderperson Maliki. Please let the record show that all alderpersons, and in fact the mayor, so the entire Committee of the Whole is present tonight. So the next order of business is to approve committee of the whole minutes from March 2nd, 2026. Do I have a motion? Motion by Paschke, is there a second? Second by Reinecke. Voice vote is sufficient, so all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, sensing none, motion passes unanimously. Passes is something else. All right, moving on to item 3, items of business. Let's see, item A, consider draft resolution authorizing execution of a farm lease for 245 acres at Prairie Green Preserve for the 2026 and 2027 crop seasons. Do we have motion by Paschke? Seconded by Mayor. Ms. White, do you have an introduction?
I do, thank you. So the resolution before the council is a request to enter into a 2-year lease with Pitstick Farms to farm the land at Prairie Green Forest Preserve. Pitstick Farms has leased the land since 2004, and as noted earlier, they were the only bid this cycle. Pitstick Farms has used environmentally sound farming methods over the years and have developed a unique knowledge of the Prairie Green site. We did also receive a council question on this item, which was posted to the website this afternoon, and Director DeGroot is still here if there are additional questions.
Are there any questions from the dais? Yes, Alderperson Malicki.
Thank you, Director. Do you know if the contractor practices any like cover crop methods for protecting against wind and soil
He
erosion?
is present this evening.
Wonderful.
Questions for him?
Awesome.
This is Dale Pitstick.
Oh, thank you for that great question.
Sure.
Dale Pitstick. We do not, Northern Illinois is not very good for growing cover crops. We just don't get warm enough. And by the time they would establish in the spring, it's too late to do anything. So we've minimized our tillage practices. If you were to drive by now, the corn stalks are still standing. They will be lightly tilled this spring, and then we will plant immediately after.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
welcome.
I appreciate that.
I won't go far.
Alderperson Kilberg.
What are you anticipating as far as the division on beans and corn for the upcoming year on the 245?
It'll be all soybeans this year.
Be all soybeans this year?
Correct.
You probably were here when I asked the question
I was.
earlier. You care to comment, because you have a company based in Maple Park, and you're probably familiar with them, Rooster's Ag?
I am.
Okay, and they're involved in establishing pricing levels for leased land in northern Illinois.
For their tenant, or their clients, yes.
Right, for their clients. And I ran a calculation, and last year then you were probably all corn, right?
I was not, that farm was, but I personally was not.
I meant the 245
Yes,
last year was all
correct,
corn, right?
correct.
So what their calculators showed is that land, and again, I'm guessing you probably were able to produce 180, 190 bushels?
Yeah.
Okay. Their calculators showed that land should lease at $336 to $384. If you had land to lease right now with the same productivity capability, if it was your land, would you lease it for $270 an acre?
I do, first of all, I will start off with saying I do not rent any land from that company. I won't get into reasons why. We've had a great relationship with the city of Geneva. I think we've done a good job farming.
No, we're not
the ground.
disputing.
No,
We're not
I
disputing that.
understand. I just want to give you.
Sure.
We are east of 47 over here. The county just rented a piece for $75 an acre for the next 5 years next to the courthouse. One person bid on that. I did not even bid on that farm. So, as you get further east and
I know.
traffic, people just don't want to come this way anymore.
The
I'm
piece that
gonna
you're referring,
interrupt for one moment, because we
Yeah.
have, a legal.
We're supposed to be focusing
inquiry.
on this matter and not general concepts of what would you do under X, Y, and Z. So I'm gonna ask the council member to direct questions relative to the matter before the committee.
the parcel that you referenced was small acres. How many, it was probably less than 20 acres.
Correct.
Okay.
But that doesn't,
We're talking 245 acres, which is a sizable amount.
in small
And again,
pieces.
You'll apparently
So
get.
Alderperson Kilburg, I believe the legal counsel asked you, sorry, so I think this
I'm-
line of
I'm
inquiry
good- I'm
has
getting
been
there.
deemed
Can I
off
continue,
topic.
please?
If
Okay.
it's relevant, yes.
Yes. You're probably going to get the bid. But the thing is it's a 2-year bid. I know that commodity economics right now are not very good for corn oil and soybeans.
Soybeans were down 70 cents today.
Pardon me?
Soybeans were down 70 cents today.
I know. I understand that the economics here, but that doesn't necessarily mean that next year won't be better. But I would hope that in the future, we're not this isn't only a single bidder and that we have some competition. And I think the fact that we're not advertising at the right places, I think can contribute to that. And if we get too comfortable with just one bid,
Alderperson Kilburg,
I
I'm
think
going
that's
to
a
interrupt
problem.
because I don't believe that any of this is germane to the party that is answering these questions. If you'd like to direct such comments or questions to a member of staff, I think that would be more appropriate. But I would like to allow, sorry, could you tell me your name again?
Dale Pitstick.
I would like to allow Dale Pitstick to have a seat if he'd like. I don't think that this is an appropriate line of questioning for him. Would you like to direct some more
Yes,
inquiries to
I have
staff?
a question as it relates to the weed control on
Yes,
the
sir.
property. Can you tell us actually what measures you're taking and who's involved with you in the inspection of weed control?
I maintain the cropland area, weed control, and it is outside CHS, Helena, that give me recommendations on what to use to control the weeds.
Who gives you recommendations?
CHS in Maple Park and Helena
Okay,
in
that's
Maple
your
Park.
chemical supplier.
Correct.
And they come out with you and look at
Yes.
the.
Yep, they give you
remaining acres. There's a couple hundred
recommendations.
acres there
Yep.
that we have to maintain weed control.
Correct.
So that is being looked at and we have professionals
Correct.
that are doing the assessment.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what types of weeds are we controlling out there?
Alderperson Kilburg, I believe your microphone is not on also. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, it is water hemp is the worst crop in America to deal with. It grows during the night, puts on 100,000 plus seeds per plant within days. Yeah, and there's not many things that kill that weed anymore. It's a devastating plant. It'll overtake a whole crop in a matter of days. So, yeah, we're out there as soon as we can and get it under control.
Microphone again?
You have a foxtail issue out there as well?
No, not on the cropland.
Okay. That's all I've got. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alderperson Palmquist, did you have a question or comment? Okay, just a errant mic. Anybody else from the dais? Okay. All right, I think given that interesting conversation, we're going to take a roll call. So, City Clerk, if you wouldn't mind.
Paschke?
Aye.
Reinecke?
Aye.
Bowering?
Aye.
Furnish?
Nay.
Kilburg?
Aye.
Kasserag?
Aye.
Maliki?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Palmquist?
Aye.
All right, with 9 votes in the affirmative and 1 in the negative, the motion carries. Moving on to item C. Consider draft resolution authorizing, I skipped one, my apologies. Thank you. Item B, consider draft resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with EcoClean Maintenance for the renewal of the city facility custodial services agreement for fiscal year 2027 at a cost of $80,184. Is there a motion? Motion by Paschke, second by Kosarog. Ms. Voigt, do you have an introduction?
I do.
Sorry, did I?
Okay,
Oh,
all right, I'm
that's-
good.
Sorry, it's because I turned them all off. My apologies.
Thank you, is a request to renew an agreement with EcoClean Maintenance for the renewal of custodial services for City Hall, Finance / the Police Station, and Public Works for a period of 1 year. The renewal is evidence of satisfaction with the company, and the original bid analysis did include an option to renew, which is what we are opting to move forward with for this year. And we do have Pete Adams here if there are additional questions.
Yes. Alderperson Kosarog?
Thank you. Hey, Pete. So kind of along the lines of my comment from the city council meeting and quoting out, there was a cheaper option here on the bid sheet, right?
Yeah. Well, there was from the original bid from 2 years, or from
Oh, that was 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay,
So you would have had to look at the renewal.
okay. So, I'm sorry then, maybe I got confused when I was looking this over, but tell me about then, so we're exercising a renewal option,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't go out for new quotes
Correct.
because we like them.
Correct.
I guess maybe, well, you probably, were you here 2 years ago?
I was. Yeah, this
Can
was.
you
yeah.
remind me why we didn't go with the
So,
$15,000 cheaper
if,
option?
if you look at the bid tab sheet, if you get the chance, and I don't mind going into more detail with it, but I asked all those bidders to submit a per building hours analysis per cleaning as well, so that I could try to do a reasonable breakdown of, whether or not they were, bidding a fair amount of time to execute the work. And if I remember correctly, going through this, the lowest bid we got did not compare, they were at about 60 to 70% of the hours on a per building basis that most of the other bidders had submitted for the same scope. And I disqualified them based on that they just didn't seem to have a clear understanding of, or that they didn't seem to have accurately bid the scope of services compared to the other contractors that had bid it.
Okay. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Okay.
And that original bid sheet is in the packet.
That's what I think I was mistakenly looking at.
Yeah, and it is highlighted that he did his hours study, and they were put in red as a disqualifier. So it is online as well.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions from the dais? All right. Hearing none, seeing none, I think a voice vote would be sufficient. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Seems unanimous, so 10 in favor, none opposed. Now, moving on to item C. Consider draft resolution authorizing the execution of a service agreement with Clark Environmental Mosquito Management Incorporated to conduct the fiscal year 2027 abatement program in the amount not to exceed $56,444. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mark, second by Kosarog. Ms. Voigt.
Thank you. The item before the council is a request to renew an agreement with Clark Environmental Mosquito Management for a period of 1 year. Clark has provided mosquito abatement for the city since 2015, and our renewal rate for the 2026 season is the same as 2025. So similar to the cleaning item, we are using an option to renew. And Director Babica is here if there are any questions. And we did also receive a council question on this item, which was posted to the website.
Are there any questions or comments from the dais? Yes, Alderperson Maliki?
Hi, Rich. Director. I don't think there's anyone from Clark here, is there? No? I had a couple of questions about the next title of my record, adulticiding in residential areas. The 4 community-wide truck spray treatments, is that as needed, or is that for no matter what?
That is as needed as recommended due to a positive West Nile virus trap result or a human case.
Gotcha.
Within the
And last year
region.
we had, what, 2 cases of West Nile?
Last year, we had 2 applications.
2 applications, that's, okay, that's what I meant. How many, do you know how many sample sites within the city they have placed for tracking?
I do, and I get those reports every day.
Okay, how many?
4.
There's 4 areas. It is once, if one of those comes up positive, then they proceed with a whole citywide spray regime?
No.
No?
It is, the trap monitors are monitored throughout northeast Illinois. And if they get a positive hit within a flight path of the Culex pipiens, which is the vector carrying mosquito for the West Nile virus, and we fall within that radius, they make a recommendation for treatment. For us, that typically means West Chicago, Batavia, St. Charles, and Elburn. If one of those gets hit, they make the recommendation through the County Board of Health for us to do an application.
Okay. And then that application would be citywide then, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then as needed?
Well,
as
and it's
long as
not
there's-
just if they're doing an application, it would not just be for the city of Geneva, it's for throughout that region. They would make the recommendations to those communities.
I see. Do you happen to know how reliable the opt-out is program with Clark? If a resident decides to opt out of that program?
That is a private partnership between Clark and the property owner. The city neither endorses nor advocates for the opt-out program due to public health concerns.
That's a private agreement between the resident and Clark.
Correct. The city is not involved in that discussion or in enforcement.
So it'd be up to a resident to pursue further information on that program and how.
There is a tagline on our city's webpage that if the resident chooses to opt out, there is a phone number for them to contact Clark Environmental, and then that is a conversation between them and Clark Environmental.
Understood. Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Yes, Alderperson Mayor?
What was that term you used again for the mosquito that carries the West Nile?
It's the actual vector of the mosquito that carries the West Nile virus, the primary vector is a Culex pipiens.
Culex pipiens?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Culexpippiens. It's been drilled into my mind over my career.
Thank you, Director Babica. Any other questions or comments from the dais on this item? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll let you sit down.
Thank you.
I think a voice vote on this would be sufficient, so all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. The record shows 9 in favor, 1 opposed. The motion passes. Moving on to item D, consider draft resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement with ClearGov for the capital and digital budget subscription service agreement in the amount of $30,430. Is there a motion? Motion by Paschke. Is there a second? Second by Mayor. Thank you. Ms. Voigt.
Thank you. This resolution is seeking authorization to renew our subscription with ClearGov for the continued use of the digital budget book and capital budget modules. There was a change in price. Previously, this system would not have required council approval, so there was a change in price that is bringing us here before you today. Staff is very happy with this product. That being said, they did make a good faith effort to get other quotes. The only other quote, unless the director says otherwise, was for $55,000. And the other company that we reached out to that offered a similar product did not respond. But based on what we've been able to see, it would be in the same arena. So we're happy with the product. We would love if the price did not increase, but it still seems to be a very good value for the product we're receiving. And then we do have Director Malewski here if there are additional questions.
Are there questions, comments from the dais? Yes, Alderperson Kosarog.
I'm just curious, is this part that also makes the budget outward facing for like the digital budget online?
Yes.
So this is all, it's not just staff usage, it's
No,
actually
this is the
how to present
this
it?
is the document that the public is able to use as well.
That's great then. Thank you.
Alderperson Mayor?
This is the budget that we used this
ClearGov.
year that I
Yes.
really liked, that was
Yes,
so
people did
great.
seem very happy with it,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
So this is the
Fantastic.
same one, not looking to make any changes.
Anybody else? All right, I think a voice vote on this will be sufficient as well. So all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that is 10 in favor, 0 opposed, unanimous. All right, we are moving on to item 4, public comment. Is there anyone here from the public who would like to share anything with us? We are here to listen. I don't think there's members of the public interested. Is there any new business from the dais? Yes, Alderperson Maliki.
I just want to give a shout out to everybody, council, staff, SPAC, for taking all the time over the last few weeks for basically making everybody, yourselves available and answering questions and whatnot for the referendum that's on the ballot tomorrow. So just wanted to, I know it was a lot of work, especially with all the podcasts that were done. Just wanted to extend my appreciation and say thank you.
Alderperson Mayor?
Just want to give another shout out for the podcasts. Good job. Thank you.
I believe Ms. Voigt would like to add some things as well.
Yes, thank you. I did hand out a copy of our final engagement outreach stats for the council. Regrettably, under the podcast, I put 100 steams. It is supposed to be streams. I did want to highlight the podcast, though, because it launched mid-February, and SPAC was able to produce 6 episodes. We had 100 streams and downloads and 158 plays. So plays are people that clicked on it. 100 is the ones that would have listened for a long enough period of time. So I think for something that started just about a month ago, that is a great output. The others, you've all heard me speak about several times, but I did just want everyone to have the data that we've been using to track our outreach and just kind of the outcomes of some of these efforts. So it's been very informative, and we appreciate everyone's participation in our education outreach efforts. So, and thank you again to SPAC, of course. Thank you.
Anything else from the dais? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All right. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.